point of the agenda today, it's a very special session. We have a keynote speech by Taras Kachka, Deputy Minister of Economy and Trade, representative of Ukraine. Deputy Minister Kachka is joining us online, so I hope we can have him with us, and he will talk to us for the next 10-15 minutes about his outlook on Ukraine's economic recovery and the European Union's role in accelerating the whole process. Deputy Minister, can you see us and hear us? Good morning. Good morning from Malaga. Can you see us? Can you hear us, Deputy Minister?
Yes, I hear you.
Very good. So we have just introduced you. You have the whole room listening to you, and I give you the floor, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just hear some echoes, so don't be. I think that it does not make any uncomfortable noise for the audience. So thank you for your invitation, and my sincere apologies that I didn't manage to appear in person. For us, the industry is a very important element of our economic recovery and our resilience in current days, but the schedule for Ukrainian officials is a little bit hectic, since we are trying to do everything what is possible to save our economy, to counteract aggressor, and to actually come back to the normal development of Ukrainian economy and integration to the European Union. So that's why I'm trying to do what I'm going to tell you as well. So once again, my apologies for not being with you in person, but for me it's an honor to have an opportunity to talk to you. So industry is a, let's say, core element of economic policy for Ukraine and the EU, and we see all the debate about industrial policy in the European Union, and we have a lot in terms of the statistics, the actual companies that can help European strategic autonomy in short term and long term as well. But I would like to start from something ancient, because you know that for Ukraine now is on the first pages of economic press, because of course the war is the key problem for our development and recovery, and we are fighting for our independence and territorial integrity. But a part of it today, I think that people are hearing a lot about Ukrainian grain and then food security, and our hot debates about how to arrange this trade. And this trade is actually last for thousands of years, since ancient times. So that's why I would like to start with ancient term techne, the knowledge, how to do something that is in the core of industry and industrial policy today, and what Ukraine can do, can help, and why it is important for Ukraine to be part of EU single market. So that for in strategies, and especially in strategy recently presented by Spanish presidency to the EU on EU resilient till 2030, the industrial policy is core, and the industrial competitiveness is core. Resilience is as well core topic for Ukraine, but we have unfortunately the different dimension of this resilience. This resilience is related to all attempts to survive, to maintain economic activity despite shelling. So that, just to inform you that in the course of last 2 years, in the course of a very massive war and aggression of Russia against Ukraine, more than 800 companies, industrial companies, have been relocated from the regions that are close to front to safer regions, like to western regions of Ukraine, and they maintain their operations. So that in times of war, we are trying to help not only people but also companies to survive and to continue their production. Of course, a lot of companies also relocated to neighboring states, But recently we have a really good news that one of companies actually relocates back to Chernihiv, to the region that was occupied in the first months of a war last year, and the textile company actually relocated the production to Poland, and now they move back to Chernihiv region. So war didn't stop Ukrainian economy. So that's why we know the essence of resilience, how to survive in very tough environment. And this knowledge, I think, will be useful for EU in general and EU single market as well. Another element of this knowledge and technique, how Ukraine can help single market and what kind of knowledge we have, is something that is maybe theoretical, but incredibly important for understanding why Ukraine deserves to be part of EU single market. So that Ukraine is a place with a well-developed industry in different areas, in small and medium, but also very big companies, so that the production of different spare parts of railway equipment, I think that almost every element of locomotives and wagons in railway system are produced in Ukraine. But all these systems were developed in another engineering culture, like engineering culture of Soviet Union, where the same mathematical and physical models were described in different language. And for many, many years already in independent Ukraine, we dedicate our work in order to translate this engineering knowledge into EU language, and this language of EU standards, EU technical regulations, and we are almost completed this work, and we are very close to conclusion of the agreement on conformity assessment and acceptance. It means that we actually close to legally confirm that all engineering knowledge in Ukraine is actually speaks in the language that is common to the European Union. It means that we believe that if you will start to speak to all Ukrainian industrial companies, you will understand that they a lot of engineering knowledge that can help EU single market to be more competitive, more resilient, and more, let's say, bigger after all, because size matters in this economy when we have global superpowers competing between each other. I think that Ukrainian industry can definitely help you. In what areas? So that, of course, first of all, we are talking about the very classical, the foundation, something that very heavy in industry is like steel industry. In steel industry, we have a lot of raw materials, iron ore, but as well, knowledge on how to process it. We have big plants. Usually, big steel plants are considered as a problem, even for the EU economy, because this is the question of decarbonization, modernization of this production. And that's why for us, steel industry is a place that is like big starting cornerstone for integration of Ukrainian industry to the EU. Why? Because first of all, we want to be a starting point for supply chains to EU steel industry, because we have iron ore and we want it to be produced in a very climate-friendly manner. Second, we want to modernize the steel capacities that are exist in Ukraine, and we want to rebuild the destroyed steel capacities that destroyed by Russia last year in a way that is climate friendly, climate neutral, with the experience of EU industrial companies having knowledge and equipment that can be for modernization of Ukrainian steel industry. And altogether, it can result in access for other EU industries, access for closer climate friendly steel that actually helps EU producers to be more competitive. This is a big industry. Usually it is like considered as something that is conservative in the foundation, in the shadow of more advanced technologies. Next big thing is machine building. Machine building in Ukraine, as I said in the beginning, has real Soviet engineering legacy, but this legacy is going with changing of generations. So in 30 years of our independence, a majority of these machine building producers have been modernized with using of EU equipment, modernized in terms of changing their production in line with EU standards, and have a possibility to talk to you in the same language. And what we see now is that more business-to-business contacts between machine building companies within the EU and Ukraine in terms of cooperation in production of final goods. Now, as you know, we purchase a lot of equipment necessary for demining, for firearms, cars, etc. And we use these spare parts from the EU to create this kind of equipment, but as well we have an opportunity to export, to provide you with spare parts for these cars and this equipment as produced in the European Union. And this is once again the shorter, more reliable supply chains. Here we have a challenge because for 30 years of our transition, we've been left alone in terms of like industrial strategies. So that's why a lot of our industrial companies are operating like a human, or young man or old man or women playing with Lego. When you have no exact details, you can take another detail. And that's why we have a lot of spare parts that are coming from China and other jurisdictions. And that's why we want to combine efforts with you in order to ensure that the industrial goods that are produced in Ukraine are using the spare parts and technologies from the European Union and vice versa. So that's why we believe that the concept of open strategic autonomy is a concept that actually force us, Ukraine and the European Union, to cooperate together. As well, already see the signals for this, because for many years we have ever more companies that are operating in Ukraine and providing spare parts for the EU car engine, so that we have a lot of companies providing electric cables, the chairs and other elements of cars that are later assembled in Slovakia, in Poland, in Germany, and other EU car producing industries. And last but not least, Ukraine is a digital verge of EU industries. So we have a really good example before the war on medical equipment, and the one of leaders in medical equipment, the Siemens Healthineers, that are producing the medical equipment in Germany using spare parts from France and something from China. But the digital part of this equipment was designed and developed in Ukraine, because Ukraine has a really good knowledge on how to, or in digital era. We have universities that supply people into digital economy. We have a lot of companies, flexible, competitive, to help to digitalize EU industry as well. And this is what is happening now as well. And we believe that the future competitiveness of industry, which lies in digitalization, can be stronger for the EU in case of greater involvement of Ukrainian digital companies. And as well, we talk a lot about industrial part of war. This is very unfortunate topic for the world, but this war, this massive aggression of Russian Federation, actually highlighted the fact that the European Union, and so particular member states, are extremely strong and extremely advanced in terms of technologies for weapon in defense industry. And we really, not surprised, but we really, your knowledge, your advancement in knowledge in defense industry saved a lot of Ukrainian lives. So the anti-missile systems, the artillery and other equipment, all of them, that what is produced in the European Union is really incredible examples of how knowledge and how engineering and how industry can actually defend and help to counteract aggressor. This is the best advertisement for EU industry. But as well, at the same point, we see that the knowledge we have in the field, in the front line, can be used for further advancement. And this is particularly the hot topic for the drone part of the weaponry of the defense industry, because now this is like a verge part of industry, and we see that the startups in Ukraine, the assembling companies in Ukraine, and the cooperation with EU companies, particularly in drones, can help to both of us, so all of us, to advance in this area. And of course, for us as Ministry of Economy responsible for demining, we believe that the huge problem of demining Ukrainian territory will help also to develop more efficient technologies of using drones for demining, for finding mines and finding the dangerous objects in the territory. And this is like very particular example where we can cooperate. But just to conclude, I think that all these examples shows that this is not about cooperation, but about integration. And this integration actually happens now. And Ukraine, of course, is very enthusiastic about accession to the European Union. It will take several years, but I believe that actual business-to-business cooperation and industrial cooperation will integrate our economy much faster than the actual accession of Ukraine into the EU. We need your support in terms of knowledge, in terms of financial support because of scarcity of resources in Ukraine. But we believe that all these fall into the strategies that are developed and designed in the European Union. And we are not like another element that deserves additional attention, but rather natural element of supporting achievement of the goals that are set to EU industry to themselves. Thank you very much for your invitation, and I will be glad to respond to the questions in the forthcoming session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister. Your president actually received the full support from the European Union yesterday, very close to here. He's only 130 kilometers away at the European Political Community meeting. And